Dear representatives, Konrad Nauer Stiftung, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, representatives of executive and legislative authorities, dear participants, I would like to welcome all of you at this conference on Crossroads of Peace initiative. And I would like to say that it is an important initiative, and I believe this is a good opportunity to talk about the ever-growing importance of this initiative. It was important and it's becoming even more. So we look at the initiative within the regional context and logic, but global changes also bring some global importance to this initiative as well, and there are several reasons for that. Whatever is happening in Ukraine now has changed and changing the situation. There are issues related to the movement of goods and people, passengers. You can imagine that from this industrial developed regions, there were significant flows to the most developed part of Europe. And the map shows that most of these flows were going to the Russian Federation to the west, but due to the well-known reasons, the throughput of the Russian West board has diminished significantly because of the sanctions, because of the war, and because of the complications in political relations. And we see that there is a problem with the movement of goods in value of hundreds of billions of dollars. And because of that, those commodities are now looking for new channels to the biggest markets, to reach the biggest markets. And we have to also notice that it's not one-way traffic, it's two-way traffic. It goes from the east to the west as well as from the west to the east. It is about commodities, about raw materials, etc. And now, hundreds of billions worth goods are looking for new channels to the west, and because of that, the Crossroads of Peace is becoming from regional to a global project. And what are the meaning and content of this project? So in our region, on 70+% of the Armenian borders, we have still situation. So these borders do not serve the movement of these goods. And the meaning of this Crossroad of Peace project is to provide Armenian territories, and I'm showing you the map in order to see the difference of scales actually, because this would be very important in one of the points that I will raise later. The Republic of Armenia should contribute to serve this enormous movement of goods and passengers, and we will serve the needs, export and import needs of Central Asia countries. And the main idea is that Armenia could be a crossroad for the movement from the west to the east, east to west, north to south, south to north, and Armenia should offer its services for the movement of goods and services through the country. And another point to make: this project is at the center of the Armenian interests. Sometimes I'm being surprised by the comments that this project is actually dictated by foreign actors to Armenia. This is inability to appropriately assess the situation, because it is obvious that through this project, Armenia is the most interested party to it. Just imagine that we're developing using without using most of its infrastructural potential. So Armenia has some infrastructural potential, and 70% of this potential is unused, because we, first, do not have connections to the global railway network, and we do not have also a realistic possibility to join that network. Secondly, we do not have real possibilities to integrate to the road network from south to north or from west to the east. Those are objectively limited or artificially blocked, because currently we have 100% shut down borders with Turkey and Azerbaijan. So what is the problem then? This project could be a fortune for our region, creating guarantees for security and peace. We also have to probably talk about our understanding of security, and we talked about economic guarantees for security and stability, and I am convinced that cannot provide for security and stability and sustainability. This is an important issue that I'm raising quite often recently. When we say security, people usually understand armed forces, secondly armed forces, and thirdly again armed forces. However, in the situation when you understand first, second, and third armed forces as the guarantee of security, it means that there is no security and cannot exist such security, because armed forces, of course, play a key role in providing security. However, the key role of the armed forces is not number one and not number two in ensuring security. If it's number one or number two, it means that you do not have security system at all, and the security system is completely failed. So it seems that this project is first and foremost about guaranteeing security, and as a consequence also about ensuring prosperity. What is then the issue at stake? This initiative, which is more than 1 year old, is not implemented, is not brought to life. Though we may say that 1 year for such project is not a long period. However, we have to understand the level of at least information and analysis, what could be perceptions about this project. It is important to note that the countries of the region have their own perceptions about the project. What are the perceptions of the Republic of Azerbaijan? My impression is such that Crossroads of Peace initiative concerns Azerbaijan because it may bring tens of billions income to the Republic of Armenia. And it has two concerns, potential concerns for Azerbaijan. If Azerbaijan is honestly thinking that Armenia has aggressive plans in the future against Azerbaijan, it may create an impression that those tens of billions of dollars could be used against Azerbaijan, but there is also the other side of the coin. If Azerbaijan has aggressive plans against the Republic of Armenia, this could also concern the Republic of Azerbaijan, that those tens of billions of dollars could be used to increase the defense capacities of Armenia, and then Azerbaijan will not be able or would have problems with implementing own aggressive plans against Armenia. So, if the greatest concern of Azerbaijan is the first one, it is easy to actually address, because the Republic of Armenia, through its policies and strategies, have simply stated that we do not have any aggressive plans against Azerbaijan or any other country in the region. We recognize the territorial integrity of all our neighbors, and we are ready to assume de jure responsibilities about this issue, and the Republic of Armenia has even stated that the occupied territories of the Republic of Armenia should be returned, but we are not going to do it through conflict or use of force, because the document that we have signed with Azerbaijan provides all opportunities to do the delimitation process legally. So we are creating all the guarantees, and we will continue to follow this path, so none of our neighbors have any suspicions about our aggressive plans, and also we are going to create the jure guarantees that our country is not going to implement any aggressive policy. However, the fact is that Azerbaijan, through its narrative, is trying to do the following. They want to have our roads available to them, but at the same time Armenia should stay in blockade. It may seem to be absurd expression, but when our analysis of Azeri narratives shows that the roads through Armenia should be open for them, but Armenia should be still in blockade. This is completely irrational approach, and this approach cannot be acceptable for the Republic of Armenia. Of course, in this context, there is another, which is subtitle of the opening of the regional road networks. It is very important one. It is about the link between the western regions of Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan. We are saying that we are ready to provide them with this link, and in the recent times and before that it was discussed quite extensively, and Azerbaijan is saying if Armenia is not going to provide us with this link on the conditions that we set forth between Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan, then we will use the territory of the Islamic Republic of Iran. But this narrative itself suggests that the link between mainland Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan through the territory of Iran is acceptable for them. Isn't it logical? So they're saying if we cannot go through Armenia, we will go through Iran, which means that this is an acceptable option for Azerbaijan, because a lot of investments are being made in order to improve this link through Iran. So, and we're saying that obviously this is an acceptable option for Azerbaijan, and we're saying that the Republic of Armenia is ready to provide a link between the western regions of Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan on the same conditions, just to make the situation clear, this is an important point to make. And we're saying that for this link we are ready to make some simplifications, facilitates the control mechanisms within the sovereignty, independence, autonomy of the Republic of Armenia. And we cannot say anything negative about the development of those links to the territory of Iran, because Iran is a neighbor and friendly country to us. And this is sovereign relations between the two countries, and here the Republic of Armenia has no comments or no concern, and we can only wish all the best for the future development of infrastructure there. However, it is important to understand what are the concerns and ideas of other countries. Again, we return to the same map. So what does the Russian Federation think, in my view? Or what are my impressions about their perceptions? Transit routes actually have important economic and political meaning, specifically in terms of foreign policy. So the Russian Federation may have a concern that flows, if they go through this territory, would be acceptable for them if they continue to exercise some influence over the management of those flows. It is not important to what extent this influence would be exercised, but we have to take this into account and keep this in mind. What other Western partners want, in my view? For them, this route does not provide any optimistic outlook, at least in the nearest future, but they also do not want the main flows to go through the territory of Islamic Republic of Iran due to some reasons. And we have to keep this in mind as well. What does Iran want? Iran is one of the few countries which supports the idea of crossroads of peace. Some people may think that if we have Crossroads of Peace initiative implemented, it could be a competitive solution for Iran. But just imagine the scale and this one, compare them, meaning that the flows that we now discuss are not only sufficient, but they are sufficient for Georgia, Azerbaijan, Iran, Turkey and Armenia to overload all those networks that we have, because it will take a long time before our region would be able to actually serve all those flows which go through. And also keep in mind the natural economic growth, because it also supports the increase of turnover of goods and services, transit traffic, etc. And we have to keep in mind also positions of Turkey and Georgia. Georgia is also one of the countries supporting the idea of Crossroads of Peace. And the Crossroads of Peace initiative I presented for the first time in Georgia, in Tbilisi, when we were attending the Silk Road conference, which regularly happens. Turkey's position could be compatible with the Armenian position because of this. The Crossroads of Peace could be integrated to the middle corridor, which is one of the most important topics in the Turkish agenda, and this would be a very natural integration. I don't mean that we have actually designed this initiative just to integrate to the middle corridor initiative, but it is naturally integrates with the corridor and could also naturally integrate with the Chinese initiative of the Belt Route. So it is important that I consider it to be important to present the initiative of the Crossroads of Peace before you discuss other matters today. And there is another topic which is currently being raised by Azerbaijan and Russia, and it is who is going to actually guarantee and ensure the security of the infrastructure going through the Republic of Armenia. They're referring to the statement of November 9, which was a tripartite statement. There is item 9, and they are trying to argue that it is delegated to Russian Federation, and I would apologize for taking your time, but I have to cite item 9 of the tripartite statement. All regional economic and transport links are deblocked or unblocked, because in Azerbaijan they are trying to create an impression that item 9 of the tripartite statement of November 9 is only about link between the western regions of Azerbaijan and Nakhchivan, but that is not so. The link between Nakhchivan and Azerbaijan is just one of the subtopics, but it is about all economic and transport routes that should be unblocked, and you cannot detach one from the other and discuss separately. Now, let's go back to security. The Republic of Armenia guarantees the security of the transport link between the Western Nakhichevan, between the Western Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan, and takes responsibility to organize safe and secure traffic of goods and people between two-way traffic. So, and we also responsible to organize this transportation. How can we organize transportation if security is provided by a third country? So the Republic of Armenia is guaranteeing the security according to the tripartite statement of November 9. This is a public statement which does not contain any political complications or difficulties. It's a simple statement. And I will read also the continuation of the same statement. So the Russian Federation border troops also exercise border control over the transport routes. And I have actually cited this and asked to explain what is written here. It is clearly explained on December 10, 2020 decree of the President of the Russian Federation relating to our region. It means that the representatives of Russian Federation can have only a monitoring function, just to see to what extent Armenia fulfills its commitments. And there is no single point or statement in November 9 declaration that any sovereign competence of the Republic of Armenia is going to be limited in any way. That any other country will have any control over even single square meter of Armenian territory. There is no such thing and cannot be such statement. Therefore, if we go to the tripartite statement of November 9, 2020, the problems are multidimensional here, because you cannot actually take one point from the statements and wave it as a flag. There are 9 different items. So where is now Lachin corridor? Where are the peacekeepers who, according to the tripartite statement, should have been located and deployed in Nagorno-Karabakh? Where is item 7? which states that internally displaced persons and refugees return to the territory of Nagorno-Karabakh and adjacent regions under the control and supervision of the UNHCR. And why currently the IDPs and refugees have not returned and do not return to Nagorno-Karabakh? This is a statement in Tripart Declaration of November 9. Why the POWs and other forcibly kept people are not returned to their countries of origin and the bodies are not returned. I understand that there is an issue with the missing people. We have the list of missing people, about 1,000. We have the list of people who are in the prisons in Azerbaijan. They say that they are not POWs, and this is not only about POWs, this is about all people who are detained. They must be either POWs or hostages. If they are not hostages or POWs, then other detainees. All three are mentioned here, therefore the logic should be upheld. If we take just one point from November 9th statement and waive it, is completely unacceptable. If we want to refer to November 9, 2020 Tripart statement, we have to start from the title of this document and read sentence by sentence and then talk about the implementation of that statement. And point number 9 is the last one, by the way. This is also an important fact to mention. On the other hand, whatever I'm saying is not diminishing in any way to start the process of unblocking from tomorrow. I'm saying it. When I say starting from tomorrow, people look at me puzzled. It is possible to start tomorrow because in these parts we have motor vehicle roads, which we can bring to good condition and fully restore in 1 month, depending on the weather conditions. Of course, we have made this statement officially many times, and it is also important that the brochure that you have on Crossroads of Peace, I personally handed over to the President of Turkey, to the President of Iran, also to the President of Azerbaijan and to the Prime Minister of Georgia as well, also to the President of Russian Federation. And besides personally handing over to them, we have sent it by mail to all our partners abroad, and the international community is well aware about this initiative. And I would like to reconfirm now in conclusion that the Republic of Armenia is ready to start practical work to ensure communication from the west to the east, from the east to the west, including railroads and vehicle roads. By the way, we have more than one railroads here. We have one that is going through Mehri, we have Kazakh Ijevan or Ijevan Kazakh, and then Ijevan Razdan railroad, and we have also Ahurik to Turkey, to Akyaka in Turkey. We have railroad that connects Armenia to Turkey, and during the negotiations between special representatives of Armenia and Turkey, there was a point raised to assess the conditions of infrastructures, to also understand what investments should be made to make it operable. We have emphasized here roads and railroads, but also keep in mind that we are ready to provide also land for the internet cable, for the oil pipeline, for the gas pipeline, for the transmission lines and all other communication. And by the way, this communication is also provided at this point, I mean the air connections, because there are flights going over the territory of Armenia from Azerbaijan to Azerbaijan, which means that the concept of the Crossroads of Peace that we suggest is already working, and no one is complaining about that, it seems. Dear colleagues, thank you for your attention. Thank you for organizing this conference, and I wish you all the success. Thank you.